So as a coach of cross-country and track runners and as a physical therapist, I'll see a lot of runners who have issues and difficulty with shin splints. And splints are just a characteristic of any sort of pain in the shin area. It could be in these muscles that attach from the side of the, inside the ankle into the inside the bone here, or it could be right in the front area. It could be anywhere along there where those muscles tend to be pushing. A lot of runners are running with a lot of high impact and puts a lot of force on there. So we see a lot of runners with reaching out, creates a lot of pressure on there. And we really have to watch and see if we can decrease those forces through better form technique, some more instruction with that. But also to treat it, we gotta make sure that everything's moving well. So that's where we gotta look into getting some soft tissue work, maybe in these areas, which can be pretty uncomfortable. We'll use, the tool here, the washout tool, maybe to kind of work some of that out. That can help, but a lot of times also we might need to do something like the soft wave that we have over here. The machine, our famous machine, can really help with that, get rid of the inflammatory process right there. But also, I have protocols written down for all sorts of conditions. With shin splints, big thing is looking at what's going on at the ankle joint. How's this bone moving relative to the ankle? So we look at how that moves, and we'll show you some basic stretches on how to do that. But usually there's a tight capsule in the ankle joint itself. And if that ankle's not moving, we don't have good flexy ankles, then we have more of that jamming force, and that causes this pain of all these tissues in the shin. So we want to work on that. Also, another thing is gastroc and calf. How good is that length? Can we get a good stretch there, or are we really tight? And when I can examine that on the table, it usually becomes pretty apparent that they're very tight. We need to work on those things. So I'm going to bring you out to the clinic here. I'm going to show you what these things have. So excuse me, I'm going to come around here like this, okay? So one thing you can do basically, first of all, is just to get a calf stretch. So many different ways to do it. You have just a pad or something. You can just do a stretch like this and just do a basic gastroc stretch. Keep your heel down, keep your toes pointed straight ahead. Just kind of do that kind of thing. Do both at the same time. You feel the tightness, that's good. You kind of want to go to that stretch, get that worked out. Another thing is you can also add in knee bending. So bend the knee, that stretches the soleus muscle. That's another muscle in the lower leg. All the things in the back affect the front. So if we're tight here, it's going to cause more impact here. So we need to work on that, okay? Another thing we do is to assess how that ankle is moving, and to encourage that ankle to move better is to use a big thick band, okay? And tie it in through the top of your ankle. You can kind of see that big thick band like that. You want to have some anchor point to hold on to. What you're going to do is then do some knee bend. I don't know if you can kind of see that, but the idea is just to get that ankle moving and kind of do several reps. It's active movement into what we call dorsiflexion. Make sure that knee's tracking right over the toes. Doing this for about 90 reps, like a couple minutes at a time, okay? And then you can also do, for good measure, the other way. So you kind of loop it on the front. Go here like this, and do some of these. What that's doing is it's helping the connective tissue get better, but also the ankle to gain more flexibility. Now, some people may have more flexy ankles and may not be the issue, but more likely, a lot of times the issue is tightness in that capsule. So when we kind of work on that, we kind of do some reps through here. We get that loosened up, and that feels a lot better. So just doing that, that'd be great. Another one for shin splints, I have folks do all the time. Get your heels out like this, okay? Get against a wall that's stable, make sure that's gonna hold you. And then you're gonna go up and down like this. Holding this, basic tibialis raises. I usually have my shoes on so I don't slip, but also have some padding underneath the bottom of my heel. But just doing these, you'd be surprised how many folks have a hard time doing this for, the 25 reps of movement, okay? Just doing 25 of these, coming up and down, good 2-second hold at the top, rest 2-second hold at the bottom, going through that several times. Further away makes it harder, closer makes it easier. But just doing this on a regular basis, or even if you're like sitting at your desk, if you have a student who has some shin splints, just do some toe taps like this. After a while, those muscles will really feel worked. And it's a big part of why a lot of issues are happening with the shin splints. So the more we can kind of get that all loosened up and strengthened, that will help. But also looking at running form, like I said, and then making sure people aren't clumping. Can we be nice and light? And then also pay attention to running distance and speed. We don't bring the speed up too fast or end the distance fast. You don't want to go up more than about 10% mileage a week. A lot of times when we have runners at the end of summer into fall, they're running with their cross-country team, they're running way more than they have been. And that's a problem. We want to make sure that we stay well. So hopefully that's understandably helpful, and we'll give things, hopefully that will give you some traction on what you need to work on. If you need any help, happy to have you come in, get an assessment, make sure we're working on all these things to make sure you're balancing well, that your body's healing the way it needs to, or if it's actually something that's a little bit more necessary to take more time off. Always want to be scared, I don't be scared, but you want to be on alert for bone stress injuries and stress fractures. Those things just don't go away, and if it's really point tender, usually that's a thing where we're going to have to rest it, okay? So you want to make sure that's not just shin splints. Sometimes they're just stubborn connective tissue things we can manage, but we always want to make sure that we're safe in keeping these kids healthy. It's not always kids, it can be always older adults as well, but let's keep everybody healthy running and make it an enjoyable thing to do. All right? Thanks so much. Dr. Trent Corey, Xtra Physical Therapy.